founder and CEO?
Well, I'm more of a founder than a CEO, I feel, because I'm not so worried about the money side of things. I'm more focused on the product, making sure the product fits the client's requirements. So, I put myself in the founder, not so much the CEO. I think I personally need a CEO who's coming soon to kind of do that. But I'm taking on the role at the moment, but call me a founder.
Okay. So interestingly then, Mark, what would you see a CEO doing differently to a founder?
A CEO would be driving the revenue forward a bit more than what I am probably doing at the moment. And I think that's the stage we're at the moment, to be fair. Whereas I've focused solely on the product, making the product work as best it can for the clients that we have. I don't think that can continue forever, but that's what I've been doing. I think that's where we've built a really good customer base and a really loyal customer base. And it's through listening to clients. It's like understanding their requirements, their needs. Every client's different. Like what we do, every client's different. No, can we cater for that forever? No, we can't. But for now, we have done, and that's what's kind of pushed us along.
I think that says a lot about you, mate, to be honest with you, because I think for so many founders of companies, I don't think they ever not see themselves taking that strategic leadership, sales role kind of thing. They, whether that's a pride thing or that they always have to see themselves in charge kind of thing. But I think actually, I resonate really well with that, because I think my value in my business is often on other aspects of the business, not necessarily like running the day-to-day kind of stuff. So coming on to StaffWise then.
Yep.
I think I found somewhere in my research the 9-in-1 platform. But before you explain all of those things, what was the one problem you set out to solve?
The problem wasn't even really the platform. It was the communication that the tech companies had with the businesses that was lacking. There was the understanding from the tech company for what the client actually required, and it was the pushback they used to get. So I started this particular business 12 years ago, and the way it came about was I shared an office with a staffing agency, and I was always called into the meetings with their tech company. And the company would always be pushing back, like always push back on things that the business needed. So they just weren't listening. There was no listening to be had. It's like, well, no, you can do it like this. We think you should do it like this. We've got this, and do that. And that was it. And then, the meeting over. So that's why I got called in and said, look, can you really help us out here? And that day was actually the light bulb moment for me to say, well, I can do this a whole lot better. And that's where we got StaffWise.
So that's basically a company who's supplying a client at that moment in time,
exactly.
Trying to drive the way that they thought it should be done.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to pigeonhole them into something they weren't. Not even that. Platforms can be platforms, and you can't really change them too much. But it just wasn't listening at all. It was just taking on the advice of the business that needed these things in place to efficiently run their staff and their workforce and their schedules, and then them just pushing back and saying, "Oh no, we don't think you need it like that." It literally was, "We don't think you need it like that. You should be doing it like this." And I was just like, mind blown. Like, how can you even say that? There's just no, if you're building a business around workforce management, scheduling, and all this kind of stuff, you should be listening to the people that are actually using your platform, and that would help your platform grow into something that it needs to be.
So StaffWise 1.0 came out of...
Yeah, that was terrible. 1.0 was absolutely awful. That was more like 0.6.5. It was, yeah.
What do you look back then now, and like what gives you the heebie-jeebies then looking back at StaffWise 1.0?
Once again, I didn't have a full understanding about it either, and I think I just kind of assumed too much, and I assumed it would take a lot quicker. It would be a lot quicker to build. Like I think that's anyone that does this. It took a long time, a hell of a long time. But yeah, version 1 wasn't very good, and we pretty much scrapped it. I hired someone that was actually in the industry to help, and that's where we had version 2, which is what it is now, and that's what we've built upon to get where we are now. Yeah.
Do you know what though, mate? I think that's probably the trajectory and experience and history of most great platforms and products. And for me, there's this mantra or this saying, isn't there, of build it first, you can make it perfect.
It's
later.
True. Yeah, we did do that, but once again, it just comes back to this whole we built what we thought we needed to do, but it wasn't. We actually then started listening. We got some great clients to begin with, we were really lucky because I had these relationships already, really good relationships with experiential staffing agencies, and so we got to learn from them. Instead of starting with smaller companies, we started with the bigger ones, like in the UK, and they really helped us not just mold the platform, but also make it really secure. All the things you need to do early on. This was 12 years ago. The things were a little bit different then, but no, that really helped helped us to build what we got now, just understanding these specific requirements and how we can make that work for everyone.
Okay, so what does StaffWise 2025 do? Yeah,
well,
at this moment in time?
We've implemented a lot. Would you say too much? I don't think so. It's, at its core, it's workforce scheduling and reporting. But what we also do now, and we do all these other things. I'm not saying we do it the best, but we do it in an integrated way within the same platform. So we have custom onboarding processes, and you can do it with divisions. So each division, if you've got a business which, let's say, you supply cleaners, your security staff, your promotional staff, their onboarding process will all be very unique. So we don't just go from the point of view of like making the agency have an easy time. We want to make sure the staff have an easy time as well, not putting them through a workflow or process that just has no relevance to them. So we've got the divisions. We then have got, so you can customize that fully, application tracking, compliance check-in, interview processes, all that kind of stuff. And then in between, we've got the job management, we've got expenses, performance logging. A massively important part as your company grows. You want to make sure that people that come into the business are booking the correct staff onto the shift. There's no need to like shout around the office, what's David like? Is he all right? You can make an informed decision based on the performance of him so far. And then we got all the way through to payroll, where we integrate with payroll providers. What we do with our USP is to make sure we always have an integration, whether it's a download in the specific format you require. Yep. Payroll is a pain point for everyone. I mean, it's awful, especially here in the Middle East. Like it's been really bad, what we've seen. So to take that away from them, you're taking, whether you're running 5 shifts or 5,000 shifts, it pretty much takes the same amount of time, because you've got this format which is specific to you, and off it goes, and it's great, and that's what people love.
So as a founder then, how do you go about making that decision of what features and functionality to build next, and also what to integrate with? Yeah,
this is my downfall probably. It's a good thing, but it's probably my downfall. A lot of people around me will tell me that, especially people I work with. It's not being able to say no. So I now do say no. I try my best to say no, but that has been my problem. It's been not saying no to things and kind of thinking like, what? And I think, like I said before, we've done it up until now. We won't keep doing it, and we definitely won't. But it's a case of just listening to the clients and understanding their pain points. And I, generally feeling for them when they say, can you build this feature out? And at the time we thought, well, we can do this. Let's do it. And we've got it all now. We've got everything in there. So when it comes to integrating with other systems, we integrate with CRMs and ERPs out here so that you can import schedules from your project management system into ours. That's huge time saving, integrating with payroll providers and things like that. But that's pretty where it stops. We're not reinventing the wheel. This is scheduling at its core, but it's done effectively and really efficiently with lots of automation, but we still keep the personal touch in there as well by various little tools.
It sounds fairly complex, to be honest with you. It's so many moving parts with people and things and times and dates and logistics and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it is. I mean, scheduling is not, we do deal with large scale scheduling, especially in the retail side of things, where it's retail execution. There can be up to like 10,000 calls or visits on a given job, which could be within even just a few weeks. So dealing with that sort of scale can be tricky, but that's where the automations come into play, and like sending that reminders to staff, contracts, all that kind of stuff that staff have to sign. But yeah, I will say it now, like when it comes to staff, it is kind of like herding sheep, isn't it? Let's face it. Everyone like me and you, we've all got our own mind. We want to do our own thing. We want to go out and have fun, and then to hell with the consequences sometimes, isn't it? Next day I don't want to do that meeting, and that could be the same for staff. Like I don't want to go to that shift.
Yeah, that brings me really nicely onto that next question, because when I've spoken to agencies, and even this has affected me as an event organizer, those no-shows, or you booked the same person that you had last year, but then they've changed and they've gone somewhere else. Like, what's moving the needle there? What have you found that helps?
A bit of everything. So specifically for this region, we introduced job-specific contracts. Right. So in addition with the contracts you can sign on registration, you can now have a contract that's signed at point of confirming your shifts. So it's a way of saying to the staff, this is a serious thing you're undertaking here. It could just be one shift out the entire year, but this is like serious for us. You need to attend that shift. So make sure your terms and conditions are laid out on what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. And and then we have the automations for the reminders every day. And that's really as far as you can go. We also have tools to reserves. You can have overbooks, all kinds of things like that. So you're pretty much covered from every angle. And then we have a little en route reminder as well, where staff can let you know they're en route. If they don't say they're en route, you will get a reminder. So it's kind of like there's all these little tools, and that's as much as you can do really.
So it's small check-ins,
small
nudges.
checks, little critical junctions throughout like the build up, like 5 days, can be up to 5 days before. You've got your confirmations, you've got your little check-offs here and there, and it's just these little things and the reminders that you'll get to let you know if someone hasn't done something. So instead of someone not turning up on a shift, which no one wants that, you've got at least an hour and a half, 2 hours to think, right, this person's not got back to me. Where are they? And then you can fill it in from there. And
then can StaffWise also intervene and help and maybe present other options of people that might be available to backfill?
I mean, you've got loads of tools available. You can, you shortlisting staff. There's a job market, so you'll have, especially out here as well, you'd have hundreds of people that would have applied for that job, and so they'll be sitting in loads of lists. And there's little quick tools to show everyone that was ever linked to that shift very quickly. And so you can just blast out a text message or a WhatsApp. That's the only time I ever condone like a proper full-on mail blast. To just everyone to say we need help. But it's just the way we've made it happen is like everything can be done really, really quickly.
Talk to me a little bit about the automations, because I think one of the biggest things that clearly StaffWise is doing is saving people a lot of that administration time, right? Those repetitive tasks and things like that. So, what are some of those automations that are just really saving people those hundreds of hours?
I think I think what we got is that the custom the registration process, because it's very custom and it's very easy to use. You've got the app, you've got that, and it just makes the process really slick and really easy. Everything's categorized automatically. Your staff are set into the divisions, which is great. And then we've got when it comes to job management, loads of settings around job management just to make sure that it's set up correctly, the right automations are in place. And then when it comes to scheduling, our interface is done in like a grouped kind of, you can group your schedules, and it does make it a little bit more effective for creating larger scale schedules. But then we also have the imports. So, I think a lot of our clients rely heavily on just importing schedules. You would probably create the schedule with your client first in Excel. So why would you not just let Excel be imported? So exactly. And we have APIs and stuff that can just pop that straight into the system. And then once it's in there. And then the job market, people apply and you start booking. It goes all the way, and then it goes all the way through the performance login and the expenses, the sign-off process, and all the way through the payroll.
Everybody loves a report, right?
Everybody loves a report. Got a lot of those.
So what are some of the reporting kind of tools and reports that StaffWise can produce for stuff?
Various. We have the financial reports, cost flow analysis, financials on a particular job, all those. We have certain staff statistics. We have DE&I as well, all those kind of things that are kind of given nowadays. So you can report back to your client. Clients love to see this information. Like, are you booking the correct kind of staff? Is it balanced, male, female, all these kind of things in the DE&I. So we have all those kind of reports. And then we have obviously reporting reports. So the feedback from the activity on the activation on the day, whether it's consumer interactions or or an actual just full-on report from the day, the demographics, the footfall, what was the weather like, all those kind of things that can affect that location and the kind of interactions you're having. So we've got dashboards for that kind of stuff as well. So I mean, it's report after report. They're lateness reports, dropout reports, everything you need to make an informed decision for next time or for going forwards, making sure your business is more streamlined going forwards into the future.
And a big area of reporting that seems to be for agencies and especially experiential events, brands, corporates, that kind of stuff is that sustainability element. So do you go into that as well?
Sustainability, yes, we do have some little sustainable things in the system.
And is that like based around like travel tracking?
Yes. So we had a couple of clients, if they see this, I mentioned no names, that demanded this happen. And so we actually have what's it called, a carbon footprint tracker thing, where you can actually so staff can very easily select the method of transport they took to a shift. From here to here, I cycled. From here to here, I walked. I took a tram, whatever it might be, and they do the same for the return journey and the same for the rest. And then that can actually spit out a little report for you that you can put into an external website, and it gives you this is your footprint. It is useful, and in this day and age, even more so. Maybe not so much here just yet, but I think it's getting there. Like, more people I speak to here, the more they are kind of leaning that way a little bit with the electric cars and that kind of stuff. So we'll see. But
I think here in the Middle East, certainly because, you know, a lot of the build infrastructure is around green, healthy, sustainable living. I mean, they're even dedicated sustainable cities and things like that in the Middle East, in Dubai. And then you look to like Saudi and KSA and stuff like that. They're very much investing heavily in sustainable infrastructure, sustainable transport, sustainable ways of living and things like that. For me, and I might get some bad rap for this, like my experience, especially in the events industry, the US, that's where like nobody's interested.
I know.
Like from a sustainability perspective, like they will literally ship things, truck things from the East Coast to the West Coast to get it on an event and tracking what's that kind of stuff. So I think over here, I think it's very much more progressive.
And it depends on the company as well.
Yeah.
Who you're working for. It's purely on the company, whether they want to make an impact, and they need to be shown to make an impact because that's what they put in all their marketing or whatever. So, and whether they use it and do anything with it, it's a tool we have that we built, and that was based upon a popular request. It's some things I probably shouldn't have built. Like that probably shouldn't be in there. There's really no need for it. But this is the can't say no mentality I've had in the past.
Well, thinking about, so the reason StaffWise exists, right?
Yeah,
you had a company saying no, so now you say yes.
Exactly, which is stood us in good ground.
The craziest thing I ever saw within a platform, which was an event platform, so this is kind of like the basic, you know, agenda, list of attendees and stuff. On the back end was a radio check-in and check-out system. I was like, why have you built that? That just exists. Like the radio company provides you that. Like I don't understand why there's a radio check-in and check-out system. Anyway, I won't name their names. You mentioned and touched upon RetailWise, so not to like derail the conversation and go into the retail world, because that's not really what this is about. But there does seem to be that crossover between events and retail. So how did that come about?
Well, we inadvertently we were supporting some retail execution-based companies in the UK, and
from an experiential event perspective,
experiential and compliance. So it was the execution on the shelves as well as the activations to promote the product. It was a bit of both. Now, we didn't really realise, and this was about 5 years ago. And since then, we've accumulated more and more clients like that, and we've pushed that forwards a lot. It's an interesting area, like execution, like, you know, competitor analysis, planogram assessment, you know, just it's like storytelling. When you go through the store, so you're telling the story of the product, where it sits, who you're sitting next to, all this kind of stuff. Is it placed correctly? Is it fallen over? Is it broken? All this kind of stuff. And so we decided that StaffWise just didn't work for that. The name, you know, we were getting clients, but it was still confusing for them. And we thought, you know what? Not only that, the domain name was available, so that was really handy. This is a big thing. But so RetailWise, it was spawned from there, and that was only recently, and that's actually made a big difference. You wouldn't believe the name has made a big difference, because we've packaged up our solutions into this RetailWise and just, you know, created the content on the website around that. It's all about terminology as well, and that's really helped us, you know, expand into the US as well, which has really been great. So yes, what we see with that, and it's just hopefully we've got big things for that, really big things.
It's interesting you say that, because I am also expecting now that you just sat on hundreds of domains of anythingwise.com.
There's a few.
I'm a hoarder of domain names as well.
I've got some funny ones. I got emailed a funny one the other day. I got so many Wise domains.
You got I am Wise.
GoDaddy emailed me, would you like to buy RodWise? I thought had a few people say, we could use it for this, and this, but I can't say that now.
Questionable. Maybe one will be the pets.com.
Pets.com, Pets.com,
makes you a millionaire. It's interesting you've gone with that naming convention, because I see so many startups in the events industry, and when I say events, that covers a lot. Name event something.
Yeah.
And my first question to them is, okay, which event, which type? Do you do festivals? Do you do trade shows? Do you do brand events? Not you. I'm just saying, I see a lot of startup in the industry. You've obviously gone with StaffWise very much because it's a staffing product. I'm just talking from my own experience. And I'm like, but what part of the industry do you serve? Because trade shows don't see themselves the same way as, you know, agencies and brands. They're totally different. Like, who do you serve? The mistake they make often is go, well, we can do it for anybody. I'm like, they don't work the same. They work slightly differently in every. Yes, you've got a registration system, but really for festivals and gigs and concerts, it's tickets. Yeah, and you know, so who do you serve?
We don't serve the people that buy the tickets. We serve the people that actually supply the staff, the ticketing staff, the security staff, the people serving you beers. That's who our platform serves. So once again, it goes back to this whole division: hosts, hostesses. There's a whole plethora of different types of staff. You know, security staff, festival staff, event staff. charities, volunteers, like I said, research execution, camps, all that kind of stuff. It all just boils back to this one thing. It's like workforce management, scheduling, and reporting, and that lends itself to absolutely everything.
We've already talked a little about integrations, and this is something that there seems to be a big misdemeanor. Let me think about that word. What am I trying to say? Integrations in the industry, it's a very broad term and can mean wildly different things to different companies. What does a true integration mean to you, and how deep does it go?
Integrations, what, with third-party providers?
So you mentioned earlier, like financing systems, other solutions.
We don't need too many integrations. We do integrations based mostly on demand. So we have integrations or backups to things like Dropbox and whatever, things like that. But we don't really have our primary integrations for us are on payroll integrations.
Yep.
Making sure that is slick. We take that more seriously than anything on the whole platform. First and foremost, getting these workers paid on time and correctly.
Yeah.
And that's what we take seriously. So integrations range from, a whole ton of payroll providers, and we're always doing integrations, especially in new regions. For example, Australia, we've just integrated with the Modern Fair Work Awards scheme. I might have said that slightly wrong. So Australia's, if you're an employee in Australia, it's great for you. If you're an employer in Australia, it's not so great for you. They've got like 20-page documents on how you should be paid based upon the time of, how many hours you're working a day. If you work more hours, you're going to get paid this much. If you work in this location, if you need a break for this, and different type, it's very complicated.
Okay.
So we've integrated with that. We saw that as a huge important thing for us, so that when someone enters projects, shifts in the system, it automatically knows exactly how much should be paid. Australia's really hot on that. Like, if you get that wrong, for the company, I don't know if you saw that, you probably hadn't seen the news, but a university got fined millions forgetting things wrong. That's the big moment that was, yeah. So yeah, it was, these sort of integration. I think we focus mostly on payroll integrations. I don't think we've got so much. Like, we could say, let's integrate with an expense system, well, we've got it. Application tracking, we've got it. Onboarding, we've got it. So.
You're taking the integration headache out.
We're taking the integration headache out, and that's where we set ourselves apart. We go into companies and we see them. Only recently, 5 people working on booking staff. They've each got 2 or 3 products between them that don't talk to each other. So each individual person's got 5 of them with 3 products. That's almost like 5 times 3, 18. 18? No. 15. 15. God, terrible math. 15 different applications that aren't talking to each other. And it's just like, to me, that's crazy. And some people can't see it either, because they're paying a lesser amount for these products than what they pay for ours. They don't see how, if they bring it all together, it's all cohesive, there's oversight from a manager, everyone can see everything, that would just save them so much money.
Yeah, there's definitely subscription bloat, isn't there? $20 here, $100 here.
But they think they're paying so little for these products. I'd rather I'd rather pay a small amount for this, not actually understanding that they're paying so much more for the admin.
Yeah.
Because the admin is invisible, kind of. You're paying a subscription, there's the money, there's the receipt, it's come out the bank account. Whereas with admin, it kind of blends into the work they do during the day, and that's what they should be paid for. But if you actually think about it, take it all away, pay a little bit more for our platform, because it is a little bit of a higher price point, and you're saving so much time. And the people that do adopt our platform, they see that straight away.
You mentioned that, you were kind of mentioning it on the last bit there about the way that Australia is operating. So what other kind of compliance standards, right to work, audit trail, self-billing, what is really non-negotiable these days?
Most of it, really. So it's once again, it's all down to time saving. We do monitor IDs, certifications, qualifications for health and safety staff, things like that. You can add your custom ID certifications in there and IDs, and we do monitor that. So, and that helps massively, especially here in this region, and also creating credential profile cards. So these credentials can be sent instantly to clients. There's no need to manually do this work. Once again, manual labour. It's just so much of it. So yeah, we do monitor all that. So people upload their IDs, the expiration dates, and the system will track. So even if you go to book someone in the future on a shift, their Emirates ID is expired a week before, the system just goes, wait a minute, this person's their ID is not going to be in date. Make sure you fix that first. And that's a great time saving thing. No manual. We do pride ourselves on making sure that whoever uses our platform doesn't have to go looking for things. Like I see people with notepads. You go, what the hell is that for? And they go, well, I'm making notes of what I've got to check in the system. It's like, oh my God.
And that also presents to me potentially a bit of a privacy security breach kind of thing, if you're putting personal details down.
You could be easily putting personal details down. I've got to check this, I've got to do this, I've got to check this person. It's like, well, it goes against, in my eyes, what a platform should do. You know, once again, I go back to this thing, you know, platforms can't do everything. I'm not saying we do everything perfectly, but we do all these things to a degree that's definitely more than good enough. Yeah.
If you could produce for me a solution that reminds me of when my passport is going to expire, because now I've moved to the Middle East, that is literally the fear of my life.
Exactly.
That I'm not going to be able to travel anywhere. Back home it was fine, I just go for an emergency passport appointment, but here I'm like, how does that work? Big market there for you, mate. I'll leave you with that.
It has been. It really has been. That's changed people's lives. Like just the time saving benefits of people just wasting so much time. You know, you can be client servicing, getting new business.
Yeah.
Why are you sitting there? Why is anyone sitting there sifting through IDs?
What's the expectations, or have the expectations of the StaffWise customers shifted in the period that you've been producing the software? And if so, how?
There's a high level of expectation again from the existing clients because of the way we have behaved and the way we are, the way we continue to behave, in the fact that we do try and accommodate where possible. But you know, we can't keep doing that, and we have slowed down a hell of a lot. We want to focus on bigger and better things internally, you know, optimization, making it faster and better and sleeker, you know, all those kind of things that we want to do in the background, which we do focus on a lot, but more so. I think, it's just there's a balance now. I think we're tapering off to the features because it does work. It works well.
Yeah, I think when you get to you've obviously when you start building, there's a big roadmap, isn't there?
There is
all of this stuff that you can produce, and then you start to get into the nuanced kind of very specific niche requests because a certain client wants a certain thing to work in a certain way just for them, and it's like, well, maybe if you pay for that, we'll build it for you, but is that a feature that can be used?
That gets complicated as well. Like, you know, you think about all these things, as anyone watching this will understand with a SaaS platform, those requests come thick and fast.
Yeah.
And you have to build it in a way that works for everyone. Like you can't, you know, it's a subscription-based platform. We can't have features on for one person, not another. It's a SaaS platform at the end of the day. That has to work for everyone. So if it doesn't, then we're not putting it in. Yeah. Like it's just not worth. It's not worth the hassle and the money that they would initially invest in doing that. The management going forwards. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, because then you've got to maintain and support that.
a separate thing, a separate feature, which is not what we're doing. We have done it in the past, years and years ago, but no way would we ever do that again.
Blank check.
Like, well, well, to be fair, now I might say we've just started. We've had a lot of people requesting very customized platforms. Okay. There's potential for us to now actually build strictly workforce management platforms, custom for disaster recovery, things like this. We're very specific. We do have disaster recovery companies in Florida and in UK. Yeah. So we want to focus on that a little bit. But you know, if there's a big need for it and the money's there, then why wouldn't we want to do that? Especially being here. Yeah.
I guess that's a challenge as a founder, though, isn't it? It's like, you know, the opportunity is to grow the business from existing customers or from different regions or going into different verticals like retail. But then to becoming a custom software house, essentially, like how do you manage that yourself as a founder? Like,
I wouldn't want to manage it myself.
Okay.
I've been through it all now, like the blood, sweat, and many actual real tears. You know, and that happens a lot actually. And I wouldn't want to. I'd make sure that the right people are in place to do that. I wouldn't necessarily want to get involved in it like that anymore. I want to focus on the bigger picture. Going to trade shows like yours and going around doing all that kind of stuff and just speaking to people, networking. That whole idea of ever having to be involved on a project again like that is quite scary. And like if I go back to the beginning, that's scary stuff. You know, it is. You know, I'm sure other people say the same thing. If you could go back and start again, would you? It's hard times, but to have people now that I can call upon and actually do it for me, that'd be great.
I want to talk to you about like why StaffWise wins the hearts of its customers, and I think, you know, interestingly, you shared some feedback that you got, and I think the term was you made their dreams come true. You're obviously a very impressive human being, mate.
It sounds better than it is. Good. I mean, it's like I'm bigging myself up, but that's kind of the comment.
I saw the testimonial, mate. He's not just saying this, everybody. He's not just saying like he makes people's dreams. Because this person actually sent this on an email to him. But like, what is it? Why are you making dreams come true? Why are people choosing StaffWise or to stay with StaffWise when, let's be honest, there are other solutions, whether that be all-in-one, point solutions, whatever it might be. Why are they going with you guys?
It's the responsive nature of us. It's
Yeah.
like it's being there for them, understanding, listening to them, not ignoring them. Like people hate being ignored.
Yeah.
Like if you ignore someone, that's when things go awry. Even if you can't fix that problem or address the issue or create a new solution for it, like being ignored or being put on the back burner is horrible. Like we use a few software packages, and by far the best support we get is from a company called Hexnode, which is like it deploys apps and we can control apps via it, and it's incredible. Their support it's incredible. It's the best support I've ever seen. So we just want to do that, and I think that's what it's all about. Just being good people. You know, we're all people at the end of the day. Like, and the platform, yes, it works, and we'll make sure what we can do to make it work for them. If there's a little thing we can do to tweak, we will do that.
Yeah.
But it's just keeping them informed and being there for them and listening to what they've got to say.
I think it's so true. You know, I talk a lot about in this industry, especially in the events industry, how it's not really software as a service, it's software and a service.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And actually, I looked into this and did some research, and generally the most successful companies, both in kind of customer onboarding and retention, is response time.
Yeah.
It's that time it takes for somebody to respond to an email or a phone call and stuff like that. And if you look into like finance and banking and stuff like that, like when you elevate up, I'm not at Coots level yet, but I would imagine if you ring somebody at Coots, they're picking the phone up like immediately. You're not listening to hold music because you're into Halifax kind of thing. You're in a queue of like 75 people. I think that's the same with software, right? We think everything can be done automated or maybe even through AI tools, but I think in the future people will still value that, like somebody picking the phone up or getting back to an email really quickly.
You have to also remember what we do. It's not like your accounting package, which you can dip in and out of, and if something doesn't work, you can do it the next day. This is scheduling staff to get to a job on time. And when something happens or someone needs, you have to be responsive. It could be the difference of someone being there and not being there. And I don't take responsibility for that as such. If they need a feature to help them with something, we'll listen to what they got to say. So for next time around, it does work a little bit better. And that's all it's about, I think. Like I said, I think I put the product second and put us as a team first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good vision, mate, and a really good mantra. Talking about vision and roadmap, looking ahead, what's the priority? All these AI features and functions coming out, or like, is it something entirely different?
I don't think AI at the moment, as you saw from my little post in the group, and then I just legged it, which I thought would be quite funny. I was right to not implement AI too hastily, because as you saw in that video, that documentary, Cold Fusion, if anyone watches it, it's incredible on YouTube, and he's just created a video about the problems that AI are having at the moment, and the regret people are having from replacing staff with AI, because you've got so much, like, it is nonsense in there. Like 10% of AI is made up. You've got a lot of slop out there, and it's getting things wrong. So scheduling platforms that claim to generate schedules from AI with a few prompts are getting things dramatically wrong. So not only you're trying to replace it with AI, but all you're having to do is go through and check it manually one by one anyway, which to me is harder. It's more effort, and it's harder to check something than to start it from scratch or to have a tool. Algorithms still do the job just as well. If I'm using AI, I'm using it to write emails. I'm using it to summarize things. I'm using it to do things like that. And we have that. You can write briefs using AI, just using ChatGPT. But are we going to take it that step further? Not just yet. Like, I'm glad I didn't. So if any clients are watching that demanded AI about a year ago, I made the right decision. Like, it just doesn't work at the moment. And fingers crossed it will get better, and then we'll look into it. But
I think you're right, mate. And listen, I'm a big AI advocate. It's had a huge impact on the way that I work and the amount of time that it's saving me. But even in certain areas of our business, we've had to pull back on it because there's quickly become an over-reliance on it in the way that some of our team are communicating with customers or prospects and stuff like that. And it's losing that human touch. Yeah. And I know I mentioned this to you earlier over lunch. I was really shocked to hear that IBM had replaced 8,000 HR professionals with a chatbot, with an AI solution, should I say. And that to me really was alarming, because not only are they replacing 8,000 themselves, or have done, they're now selling this product to other companies with a vision of also replacing this. And when it comes to HR, I mean, HR is already seen as very not very humanized. But where's the compassion? Where's the human connection? Where's that going to come into play when, yes, okay, somebody might not have performed very well, but is it black and white? You know, what else is happening in their life that has caused them to have this issue or underperform or need support or whatever like this? For me, this is just going to be very like, I don't know, like dictatorial of like,
it is,
right, HR says no.
Exactly, and it's not, is it? Because we're humans, you know, empathy should be involved, you know, the actual speaking to someone, understanding the exact requirements of that person. Like, there's no AI that can do that yet. Like, it gets things wrong, like it hallucinates, doesn't it? It gets things wrong, which it probably does a lot. Imagine all these recruitment companies using it for AI, using it for CV selection. You know, we just present the same CV twice. We was going to do this whole thing. We are working on it still. But you present the same CV twice and it's a totally different outcome. One's got a positive sentiment, the other one's got a negative sentiment. So how's that fair to the individual being placed on a particular job? It's really not. That negative sentiment will just get discarded straight away. Whereas where in actual fact, it was a positive sentiment. The CV was amazing. So you need to, that human element can't be taken away until AI can actually understand right from wrong, kind of thing. I don't know the ins and outs of AI at the moment. You know, I know what it can do, but I can't see how it can be actually like that sentient word to actually fully understand empathy and know the consequences of getting something wrong. Like,
I think it also, like, how can it choose in an employment role from you as a founder what type of person you're going to get on with on a day-to-day
I wouldn't
basis?
get a job.
No, I wouldn't either.
Like, there's no way for my CEO going, what the hell is this? Bugger off. Like, that's exactly what it's saying. Yeah, same. I think for all founders that'd be the same. I think because we're not founders based upon education, that's for sure.
No.
I'm more of a founder based upon who I am as a person.
Yeah,
How
absolutely.
can someone see that in a CV? They can just read my hobbies. Yeah, I like to go on cycling. Like, and I can put I've done this and done that, but it can't really analyse that. It'll look at your job history. Is he qualified? Yes, no.
Yeah.
How's it going to do that?
Yeah.
We'll be at work.
Yeah. I just can't see it being a great way to recruit, to be honest with you, because while somebody might have a technically good CV, and I'm going to break the third wall here, Roy, our editor, also mentioned that he's aware that, you know, you can kind of game these systems as well in like producing a CV that will rate highly with a AI reviewer.
Also cheating, that system, isn't it? It's like,
I mean, there's lots of people that have got into good jobs by cheating. Let's be honest about it.
But
course. Like, I was the same as you, mate. I came out of school. I made some bad choices in that last year or two of education. Came out with not really anything to write home on. Today, I would not get a job. I totally got all of the first lots of jobs over my sparking personality. Which was
it's understandable. I would hire you.
But it does anybody working in, recruitment, workforce, people, events, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a worrying thing to think that we might choose to only work on that basis when I think AI could get it so wrong. And there's no nuance to it.
No, there's no nuance, and there's just too many errors at the moment, I feel. And if you as you saw, you watched the video, and everyone else in the group did, that was fun. Yeah, it's just not there yet, is it? It might be in the future. It might get a lot less wrong. It might be I don't know. I just don't know how. It's still a language model, isn't it? And it still needs to learn. Yeah. And it learns from very biased data. Yeah. Constantly, so how's that even going to work?
I'm just going to talk a little bit about that, and for everybody that's watching or listening that's kind of unaware or not quite sure what Mark's talking about here, I run a community of event tech founders like Mark and others from all over the globe. There's about 180 founders of various different types in there, and I set this community up to be conversational and spark debate, and I think that's what you did, right, mate?
On purpose.
You put something in there knowing that it would get people to engage, and I think that's actually what moves industries and companies and individuals forward, isn't it? It's not by thinking about something in silo and in a bubble. It's about having open dialogue and conversation in a bit, because there are so many different approaches and opinions and points of view and stuff. So I commend you for throwing that bomb in there and then doing one.
The reason I did that is because I saw a video the week before the couple of weeks before from the same documentary maker on YouTube, and it was all about people losing their jobs from AI, and I thought that was really sad. And then just to realise that they've made this huge mistake, I think it's even worse. It's like, you've got rid of all these people just not understanding the full capabilities of what the AI actually does. I think people are jumping into it way too quickly especially when you are dealing with humans and people and emotions, it could be devastating.
I'm going to throw a bomb at you here. because you're in the world of people and jobs
Yeah.
and work and that kind of stuff, and you might not have an opinion on this, but what's your opinion of the recent announcement of the UK issuing this ID card?
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah?
I genuinely think it's pretty good. I love the way it works here.
Yeah.
Your UAE pass, your Emirates ID does everything for you. So you've got the app and then everything links in.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good way not to control people, but to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, I see it as not a way of control, but a way just to see, like, to not even track people. How can I put this? To almost monitor the situation a little bit. You make sure the right people, when people have got an ID, you can see what they're doing, where they are. I don't think the UK is a good example. There's no one knows who's there. Let's face it, there's probably a lot of people that shouldn't be there that are there. Same with America. So introducing something like that can have a little bit more. I don't want to call it control because that just sounds wrong. Organisation, to make it more organised. Yeah, organise it all, because UK is not organised.
No.
From the point of view of absolutely everything.
Yeah.
HMRC, everything. It's just so unorganised.
Yeah.
And I think that could help, like it does here. I love it here like that. I think
I've had a very positive experience of it here. It's very quick and efficient to get it. It's very structured to get it. It does clearly unlock aspects of finance and other things that you need security around, and those institutions need to know who you are and what you're doing, especially around things like money laundering and all that kind of stuff. And it's actually, the UAE pass is really efficient to log into all of those governmental systems. I haven't got to remember what's my HMRC password and what's this password over here and all this kind of stuff. Me personally, I understand why there's pushback. It's something new and it's never been done this way before. And I think that's more a reflection of how the government have introduced it. I mean, the fact that they said the benefit of it being free, I was like, that's
not right. But like, I just think the people that are probably saying it and disagree with it are probably the people that are causing havoc and doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And now that level of organisation will affect them potentially. When in actual fact, it could just bring around a lot more things that are probably a lot better. People being paid the right amount for their social security or whatever it is, or all that kind of stuff. It could just help that.
Yeah. And I think for me, if I was to be in that position, I'd probably have just introduced it as an evolution of the national insurance number.
There you go. An evolution of that card. We're going to replace your NI card with this ID card.
And these are the benefits.
It's the same thing, probably.
Yeah, a bit basically. Yeah, it's just digitised and that kind of stuff. But we'll see how that is. You'll see how that kind of rolls out. And finally, my last kind of question to you. You were recently included in the FMBE Best Connected Hall of Fame. What does that recognition mean to you personally?
Is it me? Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, it's good. I think it goes back to just being like not a faceless business, being someone they can call upon, they can talk to. We always say we're in partnership with our clients. They're not our clients. We're partnered together. We want to see you succeed. The more you succeed, the more we succeed. So I think that's where it's come from. It's just building these great relationships with these clients, and I'll continue to do so with all my clients. I want to have that one. I try to have a one-on-one with everyone if I can, and then going forwards, and then I would never hide away from someone calling me directly or emailing me directly for something. If I feel it's just support, then I will forward it on. But if someone wants to have a chat, then so be it. If they've got ideas to share, then so be it. And I think that's what it spawned from. Just being a good person.
Yeah. I'm slightly envious, mate. I've never won an award yet. I've handed lots out. Not won one yet.
You'll be there.
But it's nice to be recognised.
Yeah, it's nice to be recognised.
It's something I take great joy in every single year at the Event Technology Awards that we host at Event Tech Live is recognising that. And actually, Event Tech Live was the first thing that we launched. Event Technology Awards was the first thing that we launched. Yeah. Event Tech Live was an afterthought to that. And we launched that because we really couldn't see within our space a way for companies within their specific fields to be recognised. If there was anything related to technology within an event awards program.
That award isn't just for me though, because it's not just me that does this.
Yeah.
I have a team that are incredible. They're so good. They're amazing, all of them. We have our little arguments and stuff like that, but they're all so incredible. Yeah. So it's not really just mine. I couldn't do it by myself. The people around me and the people that are continuing to grow around me and the new people that join, they're incredible.
They've been a part of that.
And I think we work so well as a team, and they've all been a part of that. So really, the award is for all of us. But it's really mine. No, not really. It's
on his shelf.
It's on my shelf.
Nobody's allowed to touch it.
You can't touch it. You're not allowed to even look at it, to be fair. But it's
they've got their name on the Employee of the Month somewhere.
Engraved it on there, tiny.
Mark, for anybody that wants to connect with you and learn more about your story or about StaffWise, StaffWise.com?
StaffWise.io.
StaffWise.io.
Yeah, couldn't get the domain name, unfortunately. And IO is that whole, it's the Indian Ocean, but IO is input-output. So it's a fall-over domain like CO and all these other ones. So it's StaffWise.io and RetailWise.io for the retail execution. So we put them on. It's the same website, but kind of a landing page.
And you on LinkedIn, Mark Waddington?
Mark Waddington on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. It's been amazing to have you on the podcast. Since we met only just recently, I can really see the passion and investment into both your company and the industry and the future. I
think that's why we connect as well. I think you're very similar.
Yeah.
I think you do the same thing.
Thanks,
and
man.
we're about to have a beer, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
And we'll probably do all this quite soon again.